basically, if you're unaware, Helldivers 2 has pretty much had the worst update performance-wise that it's ever had. It has never been worse than it is on Helldivers 2 right now in terms of pretty much anything. People are having tons of issues, fatal crashes, like hard locking your PC to the point where like you have to literally go manually restart it by holding the button down. I think a lot of people were pretty mad that Shams was downplaying the majority of performance issues. You know what I mean? That's been a thing. It's been pretty bad since like February, and then March with the AI update really put the nail in the coffin in terms of performance. And in my opinion, they've been alienating their long-term and hardcore fan base for a very, very long time because they've been blatantly ignoring these performance issues. And now it's at the point where it's starting to damage people's computers. Now, in my situation, this was a Windows 11 thing that did kill my SSD, but Gameguard played a major role in that. So what ended up happening was usually when I'm streaming, I'll push record for the duration of a game, which is usually like anywhere from 20 to 40. You know how that goes. That's usually between 2 and 5 gigabytes. While I was streaming, my stream crashed, everything went down, black screen, Gameguard memory dumped my PC. I start my computer back up. You know, I was like pissed off and annoyed, but I'd known that there were some problems with the updates. I was like, whatever, I'm just going to keep blasting. I get back on stream. I look at my file size. It's 130-ish gigabytes, which is about the same size as Helldivers 2, oddly enough. And the file's obviously corrupted. Also an MP4, so if an MP4 gets cut off or whatever, it does just brick the file. Everybody knows that, right? That's perfectly fine. But the bloat in the file size is the real issue. Now, one of the problems right now is that with Windows 11 on this specific security update, if you have a very large file write, it will kill your SSD. So this is exactly what happened to me. And Jay's 2 cents, I'll have this video linked in the description of what I'm talking about, tells you how to uninstall that update. Now, if you're on Windows 11 Home, you can only pause updates for 5 weeks, which is what I did after I removed it the first time. So it got back on without me really knowing about it, right? You know what I mean? And I didn't think about it, right? So I have unreinstalled it again and paused updates for 5 weeks. But in the time frame of this happening, I lost a Samsung 870 EVO 4 terabyte SSD, which is roughly $520 Canadian not on sale, $400 Canadian on sale. Right, I just picked a new one up. Luckily, it was on sale, and thank you to my community for helping me buy a new one. I really, really do genuinely appreciate it. But I think it's very important that we start talking about how Helldivers 2 is actually starting to cause serious issues, and in my case, damaging components, because I don't want to see anybody else end up in the same situation as me, where they end up with this problem. So make sure you go through and do what Jay says, and make sure that when you are playing Helldivers 2, you are not recording, or you know what I mean? Which is really bad for creators. Make sure you're not downloading anything or creating any kind of file so the Gameguard can't corrupt it. Let's use SSDs. This is a SSD problem, right? So when I did report it, I got told to try reinstalling Gameguard. That would be rather difficult when the SSD is dead. Now, I did try power cycling it. I did basically everything, that you could to try and bring an SSD back to life. It's dead. Like, it's dead, right? This is what happens when I try and start a computer up with it plugged in. So it's fried. The Samsung 870 EVO was not supposed to be on the list of affected SSDs that could be cooked off by Windows, but in fact mine is. Now, over time, more people are having this PC fatal crash error ever since the Halo ODST update. And since this update, so many PC players, my friends, are having crazy amounts of crashes, sometimes only after playing for 10 seconds. These are not the usual crash to desktop issues. These are full-blown PC/CPU lockups. We have all different rigs, but experience the same issues, so I doubt it's a hardware issue. New Xbox update, we're all excited to play with our Xbox friends. Stopped playing for several months, back because of similar issues, but it looks like it's gotten worse. It sucks now that our Xbox friends either have to play alone or suffer through constantly crashing. I've seen posts about this, but it doesn't seem to be getting a lot of attention. We've tried the homemade fixes, people have mentioned DS11, whatever, like all this stuff, but it's still a significant issue. How do we elevate this to the devs? Looking at Red doesn't respond. Any official acknowledgement of this yet? There has not been any official acknowledgement from Arrowhead Studios yet. I have pushed my problem to one of the lead community managers who has pushed it onto a dev so that they can take a serious look at it. So they're aware, but there hasn't been any official statements. And I do feel like if somebody's hardware broke, that you should probably get on top of that and make a public statement about it, but it could cause some panic. Now, in Waz's case, his 5090 almost died. How did this happen? So his PC crashed 5 times today. Guess how many times I tried to play? 5. Couldn't even complete a single mission. It crashes my whole PC. This game genuinely makes me so mad. This patch is unplayable for me. I tried to fix it. Keeps crashing. You delete this, it resets your in-game settings. That's what it is. As Gameguard isn't supposed to have access to this kind of stuff, it sure does. And it does sure like to hook into pretty much everything that it's not supposed to, even though we were told it was only supposed to hook into Helldivers. It can corrupt pretty much whatever it wants to, and it's known for doing that. And it's had problems for a very, very, very long time. Okay? You can regularly see it on when I'm streaming. It will take control of my camera. If I have Logitech G Hub open, it will just reset all the settings, and I'll go into Super Saiyan mode, and I'll be fucking glowing, and it's ridiculous, right? This is me clicking out of Helldivers. This is me clicking into Helldivers. This is me clicking out of Helldivers. This is me clicking into Helldivers. Why the actual fuck can Gameguard take control of my camera? Can you tell me that? Why is Gameguard allowed to play with the settings of something on my computer when it's only supposed to hook into Helldivers? Sometimes it hooks into my Elgato software from my microphone, and it cooks my mic up. Gameguard is causing a substantial amount of problems for everybody. This isn't a problem that can be ignored, right? This isn't a problem that should be just swept under the table, and it's something that they should be publicly addressing. Obviously, with so many people online, they probably don't want to panic anybody or really bring attention to the fact that this update is causing so many issues. But we have to, because I don't want anybody else to end up in the same position as me, right? Like, I'm lucky that I could just replace my SSD. You know what I mean? That I could just I got lucky it was on sale, to be honest with you. Right? But $500 disposable income is pretty much an entire month of like, that's my for fun money. You know what I mean? And I think that most people are probably in about that same position. So it's like, sure, Windows 11 might have been the thing that like, killed my drive or whatever, right? But like, Windows 11 was the gun. Gameguard was certainly the thing that pulled the trigger on that. And I am 100% certain about this, right? And if I'm wrong, sure, it is what it is. But there's only so many coincidences for something is just, is what it is, right? And I really just wanted to bring attention to the fact that Gameguard is causing problems. And if you are experiencing hard lock issues where you do have to manually restart your computer, and you are experiencing these problems, I would highly recommend not playing Helldivers 2, at least until Tuesday when they do their update, see if they actually fix it. They also need to publicly acknowledge this and really start fucking working on it, because this is a very serious problem. Also, I am streaming this, and I wanted to get people's feedback and parse feedback to see how many other people are having problems. A lot of people are having stuttering problems. A lot of people are having crashing problems. A lot of people are having the same problems. But like, things like this don't get traction because like the popular things are like, yo, we're carrying the newbies through the difficulties. Yo, we're vibing. Yo, we're gooning. You know what I mean? Hey, look, is what it is, guys. Is what it is. Hey, is what it is. That's fine. But like, this is serious. And like, I've made like, we've invested thousands of hours into this game, right? Trying to make it better, balance docs, everything, trying to make it better with the community and trying to, help Helldivers grow because we all really love the game. So when it's in this state and these kind of things are happening, we need to talk about them and we need to make sure they get fixed. One other thing that I need to add in at the end of this is that the hard system lock on PC where you have to go shut your computer off by pushing the like power button does seem to be happening on the higher end computers, and people across the board are getting the crazy stuttering, the lag, like, and then like their game crashes or like everything is just locking up. And I do know that Takibo and Phase Shifter are both having the same hard lock issues that I'm experiencing. And again, a lot of other people are having the same issues. And we really need Arrowhead to get on top of these before the issues start getting worse. And they seriously need to pull the plug on Gameguard and get an anti-cheat that actually works. that doesn't randomly corrupt files and hook into random programs, or resetting the settings of those programs. Like, they said that it wasn't going to do that, and it is doing that. So please don't sweep these issues under the rug and say because you're not having the problems that means it can't exist, because if it comes back around to you and it is your problem and you lose data or a part of your computer stops working like me, then everybody knows how bad having computer issues feel, right? So again, it's important we come together as a community to let them know that it's not okay to have Gameguard our computers anymore. Anyways, make sure you like the video and let me know what kind of setup you are running down in the comments, and if you are or are not having problems with it. Both are good. That way, like, somebody that can actually do something about it could have more information and see, like, or maybe even isolated issue some of the problems. Really, anything helps, because we can't really send crash reports of hard blocking computers because literally have to turn them on. So anyways, guys, that's all. Hope y'all stay safe out there. Have a great night.